Hello ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Or coming to you with another episode of Company of Heroes 1v1. This particular game today, who do we have down here in the south playing the OKW with the name that's a little bit confusing. It's Core Red Force. You might think he'd be a Soviet player, but no, that honor in this map goes up to the purple Soviet player. It's VonIvan. Everyone out there knows that guy. You know him, you love him. You definitely like seeing him play. Well, I'm giving you more of it. The map today is Minsk Pocket. And while we are going to see engineers very, very quickly move out to be Pyos, Strom Pyos at that, moving out for the OKW and setting up some barbed wire over here on the center fuel, or nearly to the center fuel. Let's take a quick look at commanders. So Red Force is coming to the fray with, of course, Luftwaffe Ground Forces Doctrine, Elite Armor Doctrine, and Special Operations Doctrine. So not very surprising there, kind of three standard packages you tend to see out of a lot of different individuals, and VonIvan has decided to just go for guard motor coordination tactics. So of course he's got the guards rifles, he's got the T-34-85, and he's got the 120mm mortar. Definitely should give him a lot of opportunity to use the 120mm mortar, especially on this thinner map. You plop a mortar about here or about like right here, you can shut down a good section of the map, about this huge area. Over here in the east, though, we are going to see things kicking off between Combat Engineers and then Kubelwagen. Kubelwagen, of course, is going to have a slightly better way of it in the beginning of this kind of fight. All he's looking to do, though, VonIvan, that is, to just shift that Kubelwagen off the point for just a couple of seconds here. And unfortunately for the Combat Engineers, all the hard work they just put out is now gone to the dogs. Instead, they're just taking HP damage as they retreat from the Strom Pyos. But it doesn't seem to stop VonIvan at all. He is pulling himself out a couple of maxims to back up his combat engineers. You see the first maxim over here. Hasn't quite set up, but pretty quickly can do so. Red Force, for his own particular purpose, has put in two Volksgrens, a Kubel, and the Strom Pyo. Not an entirely uncommon build order. Interestingly enough, though, is that Core Red Force has been able to very, very quickly connect his fuel. Meanwhile, VonIvan has struggled to do so. He had it very, very briefly supply with this area right here, but unfortunately for him, it gets just as easily cut off. The much more durable strategic point is back here, but unfortunately this is out of the way for a lot of the more important resource allowing areas. A very, very early shoe mine going out. Where did that go out? Right about here too. Very common retreat path coming out of the south, and frankly, as you're moving through with the infantry, tends to default to this area, especially if you're trying to move around up onto a path, or even further down to this right-hand path over here. That first Maxim has got itself bunkered up in the middle of the map here. He is going to decap that VP away from Red Force, as well as really taking on this western strategic point. And it's a great place to stick your MG. I mean, there's a huge, huge shot blocker in the way, of course, but this down here, you have plenty of time to rotate your machine gun pretty much whenever you want to, and that's what you see VonIvan do. He's going to rotate the machine gun down here to lock down the more common attack point. Center part of the field, we are going to see this Maximus pointing the wrong direction. Kubelwagen's probably going to force away at least, and with everyone else coming on, yep, he bolts for the hills. A new truck has been called in for Red Force, not uncommon right now either. He is pretty easily going to be able to call in his mechanized regiment headquarters.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
And interestingly, VonIvan is also now going to go for a double conscript, so he's calling in a 6th squad of infantry. Red Force in the meantime is going a little more lean and mean. And we're going to see that this mine right here has been caught out by this hazard removal kit, and that will be all gone. As well as this fuel point getting decapped. Unluckily for him, it seems, because there is no real usage of fuel happening other than the anti-tank grenades. Somewhat more bizarrely is the fact that right now we have these machine guns kind of playing like this mobile fire point, not with any kind of effective long-term efficacy, but just nevertheless it's kind of strange. Conscripts forcing the Kubelwagen to retreat, kind of unsurprising there. Strom Pyos, though, are going to trade fairly efficiently against the conscripts until everyone else comes up to play. And now you just see the HP on those guys to start to melt. They're going to hang around for a little bit longer. Yep, they get pushed away, while the Volksgrens over here to the west do continue to kind of decap points galore and even cap for themselves, but it looks like they might even pay for it with this Kubelwagen. Yep, the Kubelwagen goes down. Combat engineers picking that up. That's a nice little bit of a win right there too. This Maxim in behind all the Germans. In fact, we're seeing a ton of just like very, very unique positions on this map. Unfortunately for VonIvan, though, he's got that machine gun clicked to actually target them, and as you do see it getting pushed away and taking a fair amount of damage on the retreat. 494 to 477 is going to be a slight German cap in a couple seconds here as he decaps the western point. Might even be more of a cap. Might even hang on to cap that point. He is going to hang on to cap the point. Kind of uncommon there. You can see right there, medics have been called in for VonIvan. REDFORCE is neglecting to do so. He's just depending right now on those medical supplies, and that's just going to be very, very cost prohibitive if he continues to use that. Folks, going into the meantime, are going to get forced off, leaving two of their number behind on the ground. They have taken off equal hits on the Soviets. But right now, VonIvan is sitting very much at a disadvantage. He is down about 30 VPs, going to be 40 VPs in a few seconds here. And it's going to be a 2-to-1 cap, at least for if nothing else, for a short time. Well, longer than it should be. Well, what is he waiting on in the meantime? REDFORCE is floating an absolute ton of manpower. He finally calls himself into Panzer II. And that will give VonIvan a little bit of a fit right now.
We have an isolated sector.
Yes, it's true. He will be able to call in those guards at some point in the near future. It doesn't mean it'll be any easier for him. Everketten is also being called in by REDFORCE. Not sure why necessarily. I guess it's because he hasn't seen any fuel go down. Fuel get used rather for VonIvan. He's expecting that early T-70. Unfortunately for the state of play at this time, though, that T-70 is going to be behind, if at the absolute minimum. He should know that, considering how much fuel he's been able to cheat out of the Soviets. Is that the right term for it in this case? Guards are going to get called in, though, for the Soviets, and with that happening, this Panzer II has suddenly become a lot less worthwhile here. Maxim over here in the east does get pushed away. Sturmpire is running through the wall over here. I'm not sure if that got taken out. Nope, that looks like it was part of the territory in the first place. I can never really remember. Combat engineers move forward to kind of run point for the retreating machine gun. Are able to really start taking on the Sturmpires. It's going to last a couple more seconds here until the Sturmpires really get nestled in. At that point, you are going to see them chew into these combat engineers. These guys got to back it off right now. Yikes. Down here to the south, though, too, we're going to find that Panzer II is announcing itself. He has carved his bloody path through those conscripts. He has taken a more than a little bit of that cover, too, that has been created by the Germans, though. So he kind of try to dance around it so that way he doesn't get rid of it too quickly. And while this Maxim over here to the east is backing up, this Panzer II is going to run right smack dab into those guards. Trying to get a couple shots on without taking too many hits. PTRS rifles have proven their value. Start chipping away at that armor already, and I would say REDFORCE needs to be very careful about that. Sure, he has taken out quite a few of those guards, and even as we watch, he takes out a couple more, so I don't know, though. Trading a guard squad for a Panzer II would be, in my mind, a good match any day. Conscripts are shifting forward, another squad of guards, rather, shifting forward, trying to find this Panzer II. Not going to be too easy for them, but their better marksmanship is going to take down and force back that squad of Sturmpires, and they're going to retake the middle part of the field for Mother Russia. These Volksgrunts are having a pipe dream that they're going to be able to cap out that point and obviously get pinned right before that happens. Big win, I would say, for the Soviets right there, because the longer you have to fight and hold on to that point, the less fuel income you're going to have, and VonIvan, without having any late tank call-ins, is really going to be needing to start building that later tech structures to really support his war machine. It's not all bad, though. 482 to 432. Points are slowly ticking off for the OKW. It's a 2-to-1 cap in favor of the Soviets, and as we watch, we are seeing a combined armed tactics happening over here that will see this Verketten pushed away any minute. Sure, he's going to cap the point. Yep, he backs off right now. So if there's going to be a lucky uncrew, no, there's not. Panzer II, though, remade, repaired, and redeployed to the battlefield, is going to catch out on this Maxim. The Maxim's not going to be able to do anything to it. He's going to back away as quickly as possible. Not before dropping a model or two.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
And we just keep going back and forth. You just see these middle points traded like crazy. Might see this Maxim go down, though. 3 models on barely any kind of HP to speak of. 1 model left. Oh, yep, there it goes. The question is, will the Germans try to sprint for that? No, instead it looks like they're just going to throw all their Sturmpyos in right at this guard squad, and those STGs are really, really doing a number on them.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
In the south, we are going to see in the middle, excuse me, right on the middle VP, we're going to see guards trying to fight off 2 squads of Volksgrens, largely by themselves. Conscripts being pushed back in their own time. It's a little unfortunate right there, and the guards do get backed off as well. And right now, we really are seeing VonIvan get pushed back right across the entire map. Combat engineers going back, guards going back, conscripts going back, and no one's in really good shape. We are going to see these groups are slowly starting to get reinforced, and a very, very, very early Stukasafus comes out for REDFORCE, so he's really trying to lock this down with some indirect fire. Maxim, in the meantime, though, does manage to lock down the middle part of the field. He has gotten 2 squads. Those 2 squads of Volksgrens, one's pinned now, the other one's still suppressed. And that's going to be an issue for them. May not be for too long. Kind of wondering why REDFORCE has not been a little more on top of this micro. He's just taking losses right now. Is he just trying to hold him in place, pin him in place? I don't really know. Not doing anything else. His micro is not being used at all. Kind of confused what's going on here. Bizarrely enough, the Maxim falls silent for a couple of seconds here. And REDFORCE only has 1 guy left in the squad. Is he just falling asleep? He having connection issues? No, he falls back, and there we go. He's finally going to get away. That Tank Heavy Battalion Command coming down? Yes, it is. Tank Heavy Battalion Command is finally coming down for the Soviets. And this Panzer II is coming forward as well. Not sure it's the best plan at this point. He does know that there's guards in the area, at least 1 squad, if not 2. And although his troops do pretty well against the early tiers of Russian infantry, he's starting to become outmatched. And he's dropped almost 75 or 80 tickets in the last few minutes here, 356 to 432. The guards are charging forwards. They're trying to put fire on the Stukasafus, take out the gunner in the top, so that thing comes onto the field and almost immediately gets butchered. And oh my gosh, the first barrage comes out. Question is, where's it going? Yikes, the hammer all across the line takes out 1 guard squad by itself. Wow. Wow, that's a big hit right there. Conscripts rush in to kind of go and pick up that PTRS. So while VonIvan has lost an infantry squad, he has exchanged its material over to, I think, a much more important, to much less capable squad. So now those conscripts gain additional utility by gaining the PTRS on that. Max, in the meantime, is going to back up these conscripts as well. And although the conscripts will find themselves getting hammered by this Panzer II, they do manage to decap this fuel point. You're going to see right now, too, VonIvan is calling himself into T-70. It's more than enough to really take on whatever's on the map for REDFORCE. Yes, there are Panzerfausts, and yes, there is that Rakettenwerfer. The Panzer II is not going to do a whole lot to T-70. Trust me, I have tried as the OKW player to be much more efficient about that. But in a head-to-head fight, even circle strafing will not save you, my son. Well, just believe me on that one. And finally, that 120 mil is being called on in, and the Sturmpyo squad is doing pretty well against the combat engineers, but with the T-70 on the field, it doesn't matter if there's only 2 guys in that tank. Those guys are deadly. REDFORCE notices that particular issue with having that, you know, what do we call it here? That mean old tankette there.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
And decides to build himself a Puma. So between a Puma and the Panzer II and the Redforce, yes, that's more than enough to really be taking on the Russian armor. But until then, until the thing hits the field, oh, never mind, it hit the field just now. So it is shifting back in for the German player. He is slowly trying to creep up with the Raketwerfer as well. Not sure how well it's going to necessarily go. The second he gets there, I'm sure that T-7 is just going to sprint away. And begins to do so already. It's flanking around, and he runs smack dab into that Panzer II. Turn on that sound a little bit more. There we go. Unfortunately for him, he also runs right into that Puma. And he might take a couple of shots on retreat. Yep, T-70 does brew up, so never mind. The Raketwerfer does get in behind. And that's a big loss right there. Conscripts in the meantime are sitting over here. They are firing a couple of rounds downrange at the Volksgrens. And bizarrely enough, not entirely sure why, but marked vehicle got used over on the Panzer II. I guess he's really been concerned about that. Might have used that before he saw the Puma. Now, if I were VonIvan, how would I get myself out of this? Well, first what I would do is I would get myself a little bit of a drink. Hold on. Well, first thing, yeah, so after getting a drink and soothing your parched throat, what would I be doing? Well, teching up's going to push me back a lot. So, what, Su-76 might be a good play? Even another T-70? Oh, this 120mm mortar barely survives, and next, Stukas of Fus barrage. There is barely any life left in that guy, though, but he still manages to survive, and that's the important thing, right? He's a survivor, he not gonna give up. Over in the west, though, this Maxim is going to find itself on the hot seat. He is taking an incendiary grenade to the face, and STGs are going to carve away at this squad. Will he pick him up? Unless this Panzer II goes diving in, I think the guy's going to get away, and he does. Okay, so he gets away. Meantime, it's worth noting these guards over here, I think already do have, yep, they have the DP light machine guns on them, and I don't see any upgrade tick for the PTRSs. Did they lose those PTRSs? No, it doesn't look like it. I mean, no, there they are right there. So, not sure why that's not showing up on the heads-up display for him, but we'll see. Shockingly, despite the fact that he's got 3 armored vehicles on the field and a fair amount of mainline infantry, REDFORCE has not pushed back at all against VonIvan. In fact, he just continues to kind of do these frustration decaps and then gets forced away before he does anything with them. In the east, you do see these guards are pushing forwards, taking out another munitions squad, point away from REDFORCE. And shockingly, instead of going for the Su-76, we are going to see that VonIvan has decided to go for Mechanized Armor Compania, which is an interesting decision. He's not going to be getting any legit tanks out for several minutes now. It's going to be at least, what, 2-3 minutes? I think that T-34-85. Oh no, he's actually had enough fuel in the first place to get it, so never mind, there's the T-34-76 out on the map. And while it's not the 85, that thing is a little bit more expensive, another 20 or 30 fuels I recall, so the 76 is 80, and the 85, yeah, 130, 50 more fuel, excuse me. It is going to be very difficult for the Puma and the Panzer II to really be going toe-to-toe with them. Meantime, these guards are just trying desperately to kind of kill time. Oh no, the conscripts are. So the conscripts charge forwards, anti-tank grenade goes out, damages the engine. Now the T-34-76 on the field. First things first, these Sturmpires really want to consider getting away. Yes, they're probably going to take another model or two with the next round of fire. But you're not going to want to hang around. And with them forced away, is that T-34-76 going to charge and be gutsy? I'd appreciate that. It looks like it. He does take a shot from a Puma. But that Puma's not going to last long. I mean, here comes a Panzerfaust coming out from these Volksgrens. And yeah, that hurts. But Puma goes down even before that. So all that's left now is a Panzer II that's got a damaged engine. And the Raketwerfer, who is a little bit out of position right now. He's rushing his way over there, though, but not before losing a 2-star squad of Volksgrens. And will this Raketen even get a shot off? Might even be able to get a shot, not even get a shot off. Conscripts are, excuse me, guards are over here. I keep getting lost in that one. So, guards are over here, though. They are managing to... Seems like they're going to be able to get them away just in time. T-3476 is backed up against a wall, literally. And that Raketwerfer is not moving any closer. It is just too afraid. Will those Volksgrens, though, get off that Panzerfaust? He is rushing forward, trying to do so, but no, he loses it just beforehand. So what's left is combat engineers. And this Raketen that is just missing barely. Oh my gosh, that was so close. As you said, they... Oh my... I keep doing it. Excuse me, guys. The T-34 manages to survive ever so slightly, and it's just shocking right there. But the Stukas of Fu says, you know what? No one escapes the Spanish Inquisition. Or something like that. And throws down a barrage right on top of him. But you can kind of guess where that's going. So, the combat engineers, T-34, do back away. A number is done on those combat engineers, but there's still another squad, and he's moving up right now to start doing some of that repair work.
Vehicles can be marked and targeted.
Let there be panic. Oh, okay. I have the thing happen every now and again. Not entirely sure why that is. I'm sure someone out there could tell me. Volksgrens charging in deep, trying to do something about the current situation, not be able to do so. And it looks like another T-3476 is being called in. Is that the case? Yes, it's another 76. So while he doesn't have the 85 coming out, there's not enough heavy armor for him to really rate using that. And REDFORCE is really abusing himself by not teching up. Again, he should have been able to do that a long time ago. He's got that 125 fuel. He's had that for days. Got manpower for days. He should be using that a little more effectively than he is. Unfortunately, that's not the case. 22 minutes in, though, he is up 2-1 in caps, 305 to 399. And we are going to see this Panzer II announce itself again in the middle part of the field and probably back away. This maxim pretty easily. No, Panzer II decides to back away. A little unsure about that. Might be because, though, this T-3476 is on the prowl yet again. I'm actually kind of happy to see that.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Unfortunately for him, though, he's not going to find any of his quarry. He is going to be able to take off this Eastern VP and get the tickets flowing again in the direction he wants them to. But he is not going to pick up the targets that he wants. Though if this Panzer II is any more aggressive, he is definitely going to be able to do so. He's going to go right into this conscript. The conscripts are very quick. They can get an AT grenade off on him. And if that's the case, he will be able... Yep, here it goes. AT grenade. Even if he loses the squad right now, it is totally worth it. The T-3476 rushes in slowly. And this is the end of that T-34, excuse me, the Panzer II rather. T-34 should be alive for quite a bit of time yet. But the Panzer II goes down, and what's left is just the Raketwerfer. And let me tell you folks, that will not be enough. Ah, but there we go. Finally we see a Panther command tank coming in. Will that be enough is the question. And that's a little bit unsure of right now. Though we do know is that this wee bit of a Raketwerfer over here has been decrewed. And while the Germans are in the area, the heavy crush on those tanks is still quite brutal. Ah, never mind though. So while shells have been thrown and a Stukas of Fu's barrage does go down on top of that middle VP and takes out the brave Soviet squads, capturing it, this Panther is probably going to go down pretty quickly here. Maybe even before taking out T-34, and he does so. So the T-34 survives. Shockingly, he survives. And derisively, the second T-34 kind of runs in and just destroys the wreckage for fun. Stukas of Fus is in the area, though. He's like, oh my god, that thing's gonna come up. It's gonna kill me! And here comes a ram, kind of humorously enough. That is a ram, in fact, is it not? Oh, engine overload. No, ramming maneuver. He's not engine damaged. Huh. Is the engine damaged because he did not actually use...
Target vehicle marking available.
I am actually not even sure what just happened here. I'm pretty sure he's got the engine damaged, or engine overheated, because he tried to ram. But since he didn't successfully complete the ram, he is really not taking any damage. Sure, Pyos are going to be up over here, going to get up in this business of the mortar is going to push him back rather quickly. They do back away. But Red Force is really up against it right now. He's calling it a third Verkattenwerfer. He's got a second one already on the map. He's building a third one. And with Special Operations Doctrine kind of called in, he's kind of locked and loaded for really how far he can take this. Sure, Pyos are kind of playing hide-and-go-seek with these guards and this Maxim over here. Kind of surprised the guards have not yet thrown him a grenade. That's probably because he doesn't have any munitions for it. And that Maxim gets just shredded by 3-star OKW Strom Pyos. Well done there. Middle part of the field, we are going to see that this T-34 has decided to go for secure mode, so he secures the field. He passively repairs himself as well. Ah, yes. So now he's repairing himself because of crew repair. And I do not think that Red Force has anything that can be done about this. Chucks out an incendiary grenade. He's going to force away these conscripts pretty easily, I'm sure. No. No, no, no. VonIvan says, you know what? I don't care how warm it gets. Dude, we from Russia. We're happy to get some warm weather up in here. And this Volksgren squad's going to go down because of it. Aggressive he was, and a little bit over-aggressive, unfortunately. The newly arrived T-34, though, does take some hits immediately. He is going to get hammered a little bit. Not sure that's possible, but hammered a little bit by the 3 Verkattenwerfers. Now, over here to the east, we are going to see this T-34 is chasing around the MG, and the MG wisely decides to back away. Now, unfortunately for the Germans, Verkattenwerfers are way too slow to really be doing this kind of work. You see them right now kind of doing the, let's say, top speed for themselves. But now there's guards flanking them. Even if they take out this tank, it is not going to be worth it. Just watch the guards just start to lay into these crews. Grenade has gone out, not done a whole lot to them. And if they manage to take out one of these gun crews, all he's got to do is take out one crewman. No, the last shot pings off the gun carriage, and that brave Raketten trio makes it away. Now, I am a little bit concerned about one thing right now, and it's not the fact that VonIvan has this massive, massive force, because as far as infantry goes, he doesn't. What I am concerned about is the fact that he has this massive, massive tank force. And Soviet tanks have just gotten better and better at butchering German squads, butchering their enemies, really, in recent patches. And even though he is not taking advantage of the 85s out of this, VonIvan has gotten himself a lot of utility with that crew repair ability. And dear God, he's just controlling the map like crazy.
Supply sector under attack.
Now, this T-34 over here is still in secure mode, so he's not going to be able to move towards the sound of the guns. A little bit unfortunate for him, necessarily. Huh. I don't really often see that bulletin, by the way, that the leave it to the engineer, so medical supplies cost a little bit less, which is very, very good if you're not deciding to go for those trucks, the Battle Group HQ. And unfortunately, there goes another brave squad. He's taken out. Even more unfortunate now, these Verkattenwerfers, I don't think have the elevation to shoot over the shot blocker. And a 5th tank is being made by VonIvan, so he is just, I feel like at this point he's just showing off. He doesn't even really need to worry about any more infantry. His tanks can secure all the territory he needs. He rushes in, throws on secure mode, he comes out. He repairs, he throws on repair mode, he throws on secure mode, all this kind of stuff. Like, all he needs to do is just keep moving these 5 tanks around the map. Well, 4 tanks plus this 5th one coming in right about now. In 2944, that strategy has worked rather well. 112 to 392. REDFORCE seems confused. He doesn't seem like he knows what he wants to do with this anymore. He is throwing down a mine. It's probably the best thing he's got left to him. Unfortunately, that's all he's going to be able to do. That Panther is not going to happen. He can't tech up. He can only really make like Pumas, and the Puma's not going to last long, especially against a marked vehicle. Force of this caliber. No pun intended, with all the kind of tank cannon that are out and about. But hey, REDFORCE is still sticking gamely in it. This tank over here to the west is going to be pushing back on this infantry. And the very, very vetted up squad of Volksgrens is like, maybe not. The middle part of the field, though, it looks like, hey, wait, guys, might be able to take this guy on. He is all that's left. He's got no stars of veterancy. We can do this. We can do this. And they push him away, and that's just wonderful. Unfortunately, what happens when the rest of the circus comes to town? And REDFORCE realizes it just a couple seconds after that, you know what, maybe it's better for me to kind of take a break and retire. So 30-54 with an ending score of 63-392, VonIvan takes the field, and what was a rather odd build order. Not utilizing his T-3485s to any kind of a great ability, but then again, he didn't have to. And unfortunately, REDFORCE kind of gave him the game when REDFORCE decided not to tech up at all past just his first truck coming in. Either way, well done to both players. It's always a fun game to watch when VonIvan is in town. Guys, this is going to be it for me. If you have a game you want me to check out, please email me at conulrichgaming@gmail.com. The link is always in the description. And thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you guys all soon. This is Con Ulrich signing off. Take it easy.